had this conversation with Joseph here the other day. You know, nothing like will sort of get you back to visions of grandeur when you have like 30 Blackwater guys protecting you, and everywhere you go, there's this like bulletproof Suburbans and helicopters following you everywhere. And everywhere you go, there's snipers at the top of the buildings. So, and that before you could get out of the car, you had to. This guy had to open the door for you. All right. Oh, and you know, so of course, you know, how can you not take the photo? And someone pointed out, by the way, that like, of course, I had to brand the Meetup sticker as a target. So that's Jack from Twitter with me there, and part of this, our security folks. All right, and then so let me get into this. I'll get into what we were doing there, why we were doing there, and how it went. But I do have to say this security thing wasn't like some sort of joke. So in one of our meetings, we were meeting at the Science and Technology University, which is sort of the MIT of Baghdad. A quarter of the way into the meeting, I wanted to take a whiz, and the security, our security guy says, the recommendation of my team is that it's not safe for you to go to the bathroom. And that was a little weird. And then basically, so halfway through the meeting, we get like we get yanked out of we get aggressively taken out of this meeting, out of this building, out of this area, and got the hell out of there. Less than 24 hours later, a bomb went off right nearby that killed 28 people. And the day we left, that next day, the day we left, was the deadliest day in Iraq. Like locked in Saddamville for so long that they don't even have like a cultural sense of their own agency and their own efficacy and their own ability to be a business entrepreneur, let alone a social entrepreneur, a community entrepreneur. But they did have that spark. And can you see there? You know, they didn't know much internet. There was a bit of Facebook usage. But they smile. But these are the elite students, and the elite students, you know, they know YouTube, and YouTube makes them smile. And that you know, think of the like what they're seeing that no one saw before, thanks to this internet. Now they all say it takes them half hour to load a video on YouTube, but it's there. And but you say to them, like, what do you want? What do you want to do? They all dream of a government job, because that's all there is, a government job, a government petroleum job. And when you would try to like instill in them, you would say, hey, who created YouTube? Who created Google? You tell them a student created Google, and they kind of have this like vague notion of that, but they don't really get it. And so I had to, you know, really be aggressive like this. Maybe, hold on. Maybe, no, I want you to listen. I want five of you to come together and create your own company. You don't have to go join a company. You don't join the state. You create your own company. It's good. It needs to continue, but I have to take a break. So again, the point there was that it wasn't like they weren't even saying I want to work at Google. You know, they were saying I want to work for the state. They don't just have a concept of private sector. Lastly, you know, someone on my team at Meetup, they said, oh, you know, what? You know, you go there and you're some sort of cultural imperialist, bringing your YouTube stickers and your Meetup stickers and you're sort of like, you know, bringing America into this culture. And you know, and I hope this is inspiring for the work that you're doing, is that it's not, if you do it right, you're building platforms that people layer themselves on top of, it brings them forward. It is that vital plumbing for democracy. You know, Iraq 300 years ago pioneered postal before Benjamin Franklin. In the 20s, they pioneered phone systems. All their doctors sort of all fled, and like the UK health system is would be nothing without Iraqi expats. But you know, there's brains there, and they need that infrastructure. And the biggest, most important thing out of this was that how how do they, not just have government to people or people to government, but enable the people to talk to each other, enable them to support each other, enable them to develop an economy and develop community, and that is an insurance policy against another dictator. It's an insurance policy against corruption. And that's the heart of what this internet stuff is. It's connecting people and serving those basic human needs. And you need to have these exemplar ideas of the application layer so that the foundation and infrastructure layer gets built up. Thanks. I'll take like 1 or 2 quick questions, and then we'll all break. Anything? What's that? Yeah, that's not good. That was not good. That was, 2 were invited. 2 were on board that canceled at the last minute on the trip. Yep.
Are you planning on returning to try and forward with some of the ideas that you brought there initially?
I'm not planning on going back. No, there's a real commitment. I was on a conference call today with the delegation. We're entrepreneurial folks who are serious about making sure that we're following up on things. Oh wait, actually that's a good point. I forgot this last slide. We got the Deputy Prime Minister to start tweeting. And this was him yesterday. And my question is that, if this guy was awesome about it, he's going to be the next prime minister. Everyone thinks so, and I believe so. He was the only guy in the entire country with an iPhone. It's true. But my question is, when this guy's a real force for good, I believe, and if he gets 200,000 followers on Twitter, how do they self-organize? In a country where again, they're scraping by to get an SMS through. One more question? Yeah, Andrew.
Why don't we figure out a way to raise a little money and get a couple of those kids over here and spend some time with us?
That's a great idea. Did you guys hear? He says, how do we get some of those kids over here? Well, there's actually one of the things we're following up on is trying to get some interns, and each of the companies. Meetup's going to try to get a couple interns from these kids. But what's fascinating is we told them there's going to be a return delegation of Iraqi leaders and hopefully sort of some real aggressive like mid-level. Risk takers that will come here. Yeah, and Sanford, last one.
Why don't you use the point and set the goal? Like, let's say a goal on X to get Y people, just like Andrew's saying, and set the goal and announce it here.
Set a goal of?
$100,000 collected. Once $100,000 are collected, we get 3 interns.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know what that money is for exactly. Maybe for the travel?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I think the State Department is very supportive of that kind of thing. What's actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but there is an interesting sort of development of like, like a seed competition of sorts. The thing is, what's crazy is that, you ask the dean of CS at the MIT of Iraq, tell us about a project one of your students are doing that's interesting, with regard to the internet, and they don't know what you're talking about. I mean, there isn't a culture of, they're not aware of the open source. There's so much opportunity to sort of have them have that engineering talent plug into the open source community, and so I'm going to hold off on that though. But thank you guys. Have a good night.